I'm gonna do anything with it, but like, is because this will get teachers in trouble for talking about it, okay? And it's pushing back on ideas of progressivism. So, critical social justice. I've been teaching this for a while now, since like 2019 or something like that. You guys are more aware of this stuff post like George Floyd and the summer of BLM and stuff like that. But critical social justice is what could be called like social justice warriors, or it could be called like wokeness. You probably have heard that term, I'm sure. It's like, it was constructed with this base of postmodernism. So I think someone was saying that Forster's class is postmodernist or something like that, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so postmodernism is it's an interesting thought exercise. Essentially, it's taking away everything that we know to be true as social constructs. So these are social constructs. This is something that we have created as a society, and you should question everything type of thing. It's not a bad plan. I'm like down. But what it does call into question is like objective truth. So things like 2 + 2 = 4, we know that, and a postmodernist, people who believe this stuff, and there's a lot of like, Twitter back and forth debates on this stuff, is like, the only reason why you say 2 + 2 = 4 is because of white supremacy or something along those lines, because of like the hegemonic, patriarchal structure of society has made you into this. But the reality is, there's a million different ways that 2 + 2 can equal 5. Okay, and if you ever read 1984, that's like a big part of that book. It's like getting people, once you say 2 + 2 = 5, you can get them to believe anything, you can get them to say anything. Okay. But Derrida, Foucault, and the postmodernists were just challenging the way that we do it. As far as like a thought exercise, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing at all. But if you apply that to the whole world, then no, objective truth matters. Measurements matter. Okay? You want measurements to matter for the person who builds your bridges and assembles your airplane and stuff like that. Okay? So questioning norms and then calling them as social construct, that it challenges all the things that we say is true. So gender, now, 2024, gender is a little tricky. If I would say, what is a woman? Define a woman. You conservatives would be like, adult human female. And you ask a progressive that, and there's probably all over TikTok and all whatever you guys are consuming, what do they say?
Someone who identifies as a woman.
Someone who identifies as a woman. It's a feeling. But someone who identifies as a woman. What's a woman? Someone who identifies as a woman. Yeah, but what is that? You're using the definition the word in the definition, which is like the number one, a big no-no. It's like, it's just someone who feels the essence of femininity. Or it's kind of like no definition, because again, part of the idea of the postmodernists is you don't define things. Because when you define things, you box them in. Again, think about the right brain, left brain stuff that we've been talking about. Liberal, conservative. The ultra liberal, the ultra right brain stuff is no borders and boundaries. The reason why Donald Trump, he built his, in 2016 election, the way he built his platform was he tweet things out and looked for how many retweets it got, and then he built his platform based on that. That was like part of what he did. He's a populist. And when he said build the wall, that's what people got behind. Build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. And people love build the wall. They do right now, other things happening in Texas and stuff like that. And part of the reason why they like build the wall, it's not just about immigration. It's about, let's put up border lines. Let's define things. Let's box things in. Without that, it's just all chaos. If you go too far to the political left, it's all chaos. It's all chaos. You go too far to the political right, it's all order. It's all order. We're talking about like order, like in China, like you stay in your house. Like Nazi Germany, like you keep everything perfectly clean and all that kind of stuff. It gets to like, you do not disobey one bit. You don't push back one bit, we'll slaughter you. You push back against authority, we'll kill you. That's too far right. Too far left is whatever you want to do. It's cool. Who am I to tell you how you should live? Okay, that kind of stuff. So Judith Butler was the kind of architect behind this gender stuff, where she kind of hypothesized and pushed it out there in her work and her writing and stuff like that. This idea that male and female biological sex are disconnected completely from man and woman as far as gender. The way it's kind of explained is that like XX, XY chromosomes, having a penis and vagina and stuff like that, ovaries and testicles and stuff like that, that would be your hardware, like a computer hardware, and then your gender would be your software, and they're actually not linked at all. Not linked at all. Okay? So you would say something like, wait a second. Can a woman have a penis and testicles and a beard? What kind of question is that? Of course. Of course. Yeah, of course. And there's a lot of people from your generation, maybe not you guys, I don't know, okay, from your generation that 100% believe this. So where did this come from? One of the people is Judith Butler, and one of the people we're going to talk about, saying that this is a social construct, that the reason why men are wearing what they're wearing and acting the way that they're acting and getting into STEM and getting into playing with trucks and stuff like that is because they've been conditioned by society to do so. And the reason why so many girls are wearing dresses and love, Disney princesses and stuff is because they are conditioned by their parents and society to say, you should play with dolls, boys, you should play with trucks. Now, I have 3 sons. They have 1 baby doll toy, okay? Because when we announced that we were having our 3rd son, Mac, we gave him that for Christmas. We had this Christmas gift. I'm like, that's gonna be the best gift ever. And they were so excited. And they opened it up as a baby doll. And they were so bummed out. They're like, this is a girl toy. They just threw it around. But when they don't play with it ever, okay? When a little girl comes over to the house, like a friend's kid or something like that, she scans guns and trucks and G.I. Joes and action figures, and then she goes, doll. She runs right over the doll. It's very interesting. Now, it's not to say that my kids, when they go to, like we were just at a friend's house, there was a kitchen thing. I don't know if kitchen's like masculine, feminine, whatever. They were there pretending to cook and stuff like that. All good. They also took some of the pretend plastic knives and pretended to stab each other. I'm not promoting them stabbing each other, okay? I don't know, okay? But the idea of Judith Butler is part of where this gender idea, this like kind of thing. And for you like tomboys in here, whatever that's even a thing, okay? Women who like to do more traditionally masculine things, maybe you're an athlete, maybe you're just into like whatever more masculine things, okay? Then that's essentially getting into the stuff where, well, maybe you were born in the wrong body because you have more masculine tendencies and stuff like that, which is a very common mainstream thing now. But then there's also race. So I mentioned people here. Kimberly Crenshaw has this concept called intersectionality. Intersectionality came from early 1940s and 50s car manufacturers. If you were a white man, you would work on the factory floor. If you're a white woman, you would work as a secretary. If you're a black man, you could work on the factory floor. But if you were a black woman, you couldn't be a secretary. So they would say black men have less privilege than white men, but more privilege than black women. It's this idea and the oppressor versus oppressed kind of dynamic that men are here, women are here. Oppressor, oppressed. Okay? White people, oppressor. Black people, oppressed. Okay? And then it would be like cisgender, which just means basically that just like that you are what you are, like if you're born as a man and you're a man. Okay? And then there would be like, a transgender would be the oppressed. Okay? So if you are black, trans woman, then you would be 3 levels. If you had muscular dystrophy or something like that, multiple sclerosis, then that's another one, like able-bodied, oppressor, disabled would be oppressed. Okay? So it's this idea of levels of oppression. Okay? Because part of what postmodernism was everything is constructed through power. The reason why 2 + 2 = 4 is because people in positions of power made it that way. That's the idea. You said, well, yeah, Hashem's got a lot of power, but now they're talking about human beings. Peggy McIntosh had this concept called white privilege. The idea that you are privileged simply for being white, that if you are white, it's like currency, that you, just being white, have currency out in the world, advantages in the world just for being white. Okay, I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, I'm saying what they are. White complicity is a Barbara Applebaum idea, the idea that if you are white, then you are complicit with white supremacy. Just for being white, you are kind of allied with all of the bad things that white people have done throughout society, slavery, oppression, all that kind of stuff. Robin DiAngelo wrote a book called White Fragility, the idea that if you balk at any of these ideas and say, like, this doesn't add up, that's because your fragile whiteness, the fact that you are white and you can't handle the truth type of thing, so because of your whiteness, okay, if you say something that's oppressive, that's offensive to white people, that's your white fragility. No black fragility concept, but like white fragility. Ibram Kendi took the idea of anti-racism, he said that you were either racist or anti-racist. You can't just be not racist. If you just say like, I'm not racist, I don't. The definition of racism for many, many years was defined as a social construct. We created race, okay? This has been the definition forever. It's not like, that's different than ethnicity. Okay, race is you take a black dude from LA and you take a black dude from, Zimbabwe, and they're the same race. That's not ethnicity. Ethnicity is different because you could have people from all different places. Okay, it is a social construct with the belief that individuals are inferior or superior to another based on their racial category. That because you are belonging to this social construct category, you are better or worse because of that. Because of that, okay? And that definition is not used on many college campuses today. The definition has changed to be something along the lines of prejudice plus power. That if you have prejudice, which is I'm going to judge you before I get to know you, which we all do, by the way. All of you do that. You see someone, you're going to make judgments about them. That's very normal, okay? If you didn't do that, you'd be dead. Your lineage would have died. Because if an animal walks up with big claws and fangs, you're going to judge and go, I should keep my distance. Right? That's important. Someone walks up with gang tattoos and a knife or something like that, you're going to judge them. Okay? But then you get to know them a little bit. You realize that they have tattoos because they're an artist and they're a chef. And you go, oh, okay, well then I'm not going to hate them anymore. Okay? Racism is you continue with that hate despite the fact that you get to know them. Okay? Prejudice plus power. So you have prejudice, but then you have power. Not like power like Oprah has power because she's a billionaire, but societal power based on your category, which means, according to this, and this is mainstream in many categories, many university campuses and K through 12 classrooms in America, black people cannot be racist. Hispanic people cannot be racist, okay? Because you don't have societal power, okay? So if you ask Ibram Kendi what the definition of racism is, you can Google this, it's on YouTube or something like that. He says the same definition that Zane gave me for gender for woman is, if you're a racist, you believe in racist ideals. So what does that mean? Okay? There's many others. But what this comes down to is changing definitions when people are not all on board. Okay?